Moscow refuses to rule out Latin America military deployments, conflict news.
Here's a summary of the article.
Moscow has again refused to rule out deploying military units to Cuba and Venezuela as tensions with the West over Ukraine simmer, saying it is exploring options to ensure Russia's security. His remarks came after diplomatic talks between Russia, the United States, NATO and other Western powers failed to produce a breakthrough in the Ukraine crisis. Peskov's comments came as Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko confirmed on Monday that Russia and Belarus will hold joint military drills next month. Lukashenko said the exercises on Belarus's southern and western borders were in response to alleged troop build-ups by Ukraine, Poland and the Baltic states, Estonia, Lithuania and Latvia, near his country's frontiers. Monday's developments added to fears of a possible breakout of conflict in Europe, where Russia's recent troop buildup near Ukraine's borders has spooked Kiev and its Western allies. Russia, which annexed Ukraine's Crimea Peninsula in 2014 and is accused of fomenting a pro-Russian separatist war in the country's east, has denied having plans to make an incursion into its neighbor. Washington has called such demands non-starters but said that it is willing to negotiate with Moscow about possible future deployments of offensive missiles in Ukraine and putting limits on US and NATO military exercises in Eastern Europe.
This post received a score of 3,600, with an upvote ratio of 94%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Can Russia afford these threatened military adventures?
Barely, which is why I say they should go for it.
Champagne dreams on a generic soda budget.
Speaking of champagne, Russia has been aggressively trying to prop up their domestic champagne industry by making a rule that only champagne produced in Russia can be called champagne. This has angered France. However, Crimea is the big producer of Russian champagne, and Putin's hope is that this can prop up the failing Crimean economy.
If it's not made in the Champagne region of France, it's just sparkling authoritarianism.
Actually, it's a brute.
The absurdly difficult logistics of Russia deploying and maintaining said presence make this threat rather questionable.
They're already in Venezuela as of a few years, or last year, ago. They would have expanded their network by now. It certainly throws a wrench in the "let's get 'em" attitude.
Some of those guys are in drug cartels now, by the way.
Not surprised. Good way to collect collateral, funds and expand their intelligence reach.
Sorry, what year is it again?
Back in the US. Back in the US. Back in the USSR.
Well, the Ukraine girls really knock me out. Leave the West behind.
There's news and there's noise. This is noise.
Russia buries the former with the latter.
Identifying the noise is the most readily available counter to it.
I wish they would come to Haiti. We can use the help.
I feel so bad for Haiti. I was on the border of Doctor and Haiti after the big earthquake. Haiti is like a barren wasteland.
I wouldn't say it's a wasteland. I have been there last year. The country itself is still beautiful. The capital is a mess with the factions fighting over control. The political situation is fucked, and the people are losing hope in the country itself. We have to get rid of our leadership and start anew.
I think he means the actual border area. The Haitian side is completely deforested. Compared to the Doctor side, it does look like a wasteland.
Oh, those Russians.
Rah rah.
Rasputin.
Lover of the Russian queen?
There was a cat that really was gone.
So Russia is going to deploy parts of their army where they are useless. That will just make Putin weaker.
Yes, they should go for it just for that reason.
I say let them go for it. Logistics aren't exactly a strong suit of the Russian military. Would be fascinating to watch them try. Anyone else remember the fiasco of them trying to deploy the Kuznetsov? But, in the end, it's quite obviously just saber-rattling, and Putin trying to erroneously draw equivalencies to support his fever dream of invading Ukraine.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.